I still remember that morning. The kettle whistled softly while I stood by the window, staring at the gum trees swaying outside. The sky had that pale blue tint only autumn mornings in Sydney can hold. My son, Daniel, sat at the kitchen table, same seat he'd taken since he was 12. But he wasn't the same boy anymore. He had papers spread all over the table, his phone buzzing every few seconds. He didn't look up when I placed a cup of tea in front of him. "Thanks, Mum," he said quickly. "Listen, I need you to co-sign a loan for me. Just a small one. For the business." I froze. The sound of the spoon against the mug felt louder than usual. "A loan?" I asked. "How much are we talking about?" He smiled, that confident, careless smile that used to melt me when he was little. 200,000. It's just for cash flow. You won't have to pay anything, Mum. It's just paperwork. I took a slow sip of my tea. My hands were trembling a bit, though I tried to hide it. "Daniel," I said quietly, "you already owe money on the last loan. The cafe didn't make it through COVID. What happens if this one doesn't work either?" He sighed. "Mum, you don't understand business. You've always been careful. I'm trying to build something real. You've got the house, the savings. You'll be fine. I just need your signature." His words stung. "You'll be fine." It sounded like I was just a name on a line, not his mother. I looked at him, his jaw tight, his eyes restless. I saw the boy I once held through fevers, the one who cried when his puppy died. And now, all I could see was distance. "I can't, Daniel," I said softly. "I'm sorry. I can't risk my home." The chair scraped harshly against the tiles as he stood. "So that's it," he said bitterly. "You'd rather keep your stupid house than help your own son." "Daniel, it's not like that." He cut me off. "It is. You're selfish, Mum. You always said family comes first. Guess that only counts when it's convenient for you." He stormed out. The front door slammed so hard that the photo frames rattled on the wall. For a long while, I just sat there. The tea had gone cold. Outside, a magpie called from the fence, that strange, lonely sound echoing in the stillness. That night, I found out he'd told everyone, his friends, even my sister, that I'd abandoned him when he needed me most. My sister called, angry. "How could you turn your back on your own son?" she said. I wanted to explain. But my throat felt tight. I just listened. And when she hung up, I sat in the quiet house, listening to the clock tick, wondering if this was what growing old meant, being the villain in your own child's story. Have you ever felt like love disappears when money gets involved? Tell me in the comments, what would you do if your own child treated you this way? If this story touches your heart, like and subscribe for more real-life stories on Elsie's True Stories. The days after that were strangely quiet. No calls from Daniel. No messages. Just silence, thick and heavy, like fog that wouldn't lift. I stopped checking my phone after a while. It only brought disappointment. At the supermarket, an old friend from church avoided my eyes. Later, I realized Daniel had been telling people I'd cut him off completely. That I cared more about money than my own child. For the first time in my life, I felt ashamed for something I didn't do. One evening, I sat alone on the veranda. The sun was setting over the jacaranda trees, painting everything in violet light. I could smell the faint sweetness of tea roses from the garden. It should have been a peaceful moment, but my chest felt hollow. I thought back to all those years. Packing his lunches. Saving for his school trips. Taking extra shifts when his father left. Every dollar, every choice, it had always been for him. And now, somehow, that love had turned into debt. That night, I couldn't sleep. The rain tapped gently against the roof, and in that quiet rhythm, I realized something I should have known long ago. I hadn't lost Daniel, I'd just stopped paying for his love. The next morning, I went to the bank. The clerk recognized me, a kind woman named Fiona, who'd helped me refinance the house years ago. I told her I wanted to update my will and set up a small trust fund, not for Daniel, but for my granddaughter, Lily. She's only 10, and she still runs to hug me every time I visit. Her love is real, unbought. Fiona smiled. You're doing the right thing, she said softly. On my way home, I stopped by the cafe near the park, the one Daniel used to dream of owning. I ordered a flat white and sat by the window. The air smelled of roasted beans and rain-damp pavement. For the first time in months, I felt calm. A week later, Daniel showed up at my door. He didn't knock softly. He barged in, eyes blazing. Mum, what's this I hear about you changing your will? Are you trying to cut me out? I took a breath. I'm not cutting anyone out, Daniel. I'm just making sure things go where they are appreciated. He scoffed. You're punishing me because I told people the truth. I looked at him, my grown son, angry like a child denied a toy. Daniel, I said quietly, the truth isn't something you twist to make yourself a victim. I didn't abandon you. I just stopped letting you use me. He stared at me, stunned. You can't talk to me like that, he snapped. Then maybe, I said softly, you shouldn't have treated me like a wallet. He opened his mouth to say something, but nothing came out. He just shook his head and walked away. When the door closed behind him, I felt a strange mix of sadness and relief. It hurt, of course it did, but there was also a lightness, like I could finally breathe again. That evening, I wrote a letter to Lily. I told her stories about when her dad was young, about his laughter, his kindness, before life and pride changed him. I told her to remember that love means responsibility, not entitlement. I sealed the letter and placed it in my desk drawer. It wasn't bitterness, it was closure. I made a cup of chamomile tea, turned on the radio softly, and for the first time in years, I felt proud of myself. Not because I said no, but because I finally understood my worth. If this moment hit close to home, give this video a like. It helps more people hear stories like this on Elsie's True Stories. It's been 6 months since that day. The seasons have turned again. The mornings are cooler now, the kind where mist hangs low over the garden and the world feels softer somehow. I've learned to enjoy the quiet. Every morning, I feed the kookaburras that visit my fence. They come in pairs, chattering and laughing in that strange, joyous way they do. Their sound fills the emptiness that used to echo through the house. Sometimes I still think about Daniel. Not with anger anymore. More like a dull ache that comes and goes, the kind that time teaches you to live with. Last week, I was pruning the roses when I heard a small voice behind me. Grandma. It was Lily, running across the yard, her backpack bouncing, curls flying. She ran straight into my arms. Mum dropped me off, she said. I wanted to see you. I knelt down to hug her. She smelled like sunshine and shampoo. She looked up at me seriously. Daddy said you don't like him anymore. Is that true? My heart tightened. I brushed a leaf from her hair. No, sweetheart, I said softly. I love your dad very much. I just don't like some of the choices he's made. But love doesn't disappear because of that. She seemed to think about it, then nodded like she understood more than I expected. I told him you're the kindest person I know, she whispered. Those words, so simple, melted something inside me. We spent the afternoon baking scones. She made a mess of the flour, giggling as it puffed into the air. I laughed too, really laughed, and it felt good. When I drove her home later, Daniel came out to meet us. He looked tired. Not angry, not proud, just tired. "Thanks for having her," he said quietly. His voice didn't carry that sharp edge anymore. I nodded. "Of course. She's always welcome." There was a pause. He kicked at a stone on the driveway, not meeting my eyes. "Mum," he said finally, "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said those things. I felt like a failure." I took a deep breath. The night air smelled faintly of eucalyptus and dust. "I know," I said. "And maybe you needed to fall a bit to learn how to stand." He looked up at me, eyes glistening. "Do you think we can start over?" I smiled, a small, quiet smile. "Yes, Daniel. But this time, let's start with honesty." He nodded, and for a moment, I saw that same little boy again, the one who used to hold my hand crossing the street. Later that night, I sat by the window with a cup of tea, watching the moonlight spill across the garden. The world felt still, peaceful. I realized something: forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing peace over pain. It means letting go, not for them, but for yourself. Love without respect is just a transaction. And I finally learned, money can't buy love, but it can buy freedom. Sometimes, walking away is how you teach love its real worth. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and share it with someone who might need to hear it. And if you want more stories like this, subscribe and turn on the bell. I post new ones every day on Elsie's True Stories.